everybody, welcome back. We are going to continue on with Mission Critical. If you didn't join me on the first time, well, my part 1 is available to be viewed on VOD on my Twitch page, and soon will be available on YouTube. Alright, so on the first... Alright, let me get onto the gameplay here for everybody. Why is it not showing up? Hang on a second. Got a little bit of a technical difficulty going on here. I'll go ahead and quit this. Let's try this again. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright, so what we did last time was that we stopped the hull breach, fixed the reactor core, ransacked through everybody's stateroom that we can go into, and we stopped just as we were about to reset the computer and also to find out what Pol was doing, why he was entering the medical officer's room that has that high-powered safe, and also see if there was anything that he may have been doing that might have been infuriating. But find out why he was being such a creep. So first what we'll do is we'll take care of Pol. Let's find out what he was doing, and then we'll go and reset the computer, and then hopefully then we can maybe contact Alliance base and find out what's going on and what this mission's all about. So let's continue on. We're right here in engineering where we left off after we repaired the warp core breach and got the belt down. So let's head up to Pol's. Let's first ask the computer if...
Computer?
The main computer is down. Voice access to engineering systems only.
Has anything changed?
The criticality 1 fault in the primary reactor coolant system has been repaired. Reactor temperatures are returning to normal.
I'm done.
Access terminated by user.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's go to Pol's quarters. Yes, the elevator shaft runs all the way from the bridge to the ship to the weapons bay, reactor spaces, and engineering. We know that. We'll open it and we'll look at it. Alright, so let's head to deck 2. It says where Pol's quarters was, right next to ours.
Deck 2.
Hello? Hang on a second. Hello? False alarm. I thought I heard somebody knock on the door. And then I thought I heard the door open and close. Thought maybe my wife was back home, but normally she's not home this early when she's off with her sister doing some stuff, so that's why I was so confused. Okay. Alright, let's go and take a look at Pol's orders and see what he was up to.
This stateroom is protected by the...
Yeah, we know the privacy laws.
Access granted.
Alright, so this is his quarters. This was Lieutenant James Poole's stateroom. Alright, first thing, look in the drawer. You find nothing of interest inside the desk drawer. Looks like he has some books here. Poole had various tastes. The books bear titles like Miniature Construction Utilizing Solid Clad Transfer, USN Op Spec Manual 2134, and The Lion and the Locust, Earth's Biosphere and Trouble. So he has a Op Spec manual in his room. Why did he have that? And why out in the open, too? Alright, so let's go ahead and read these. You quickly thumb through a few pages of one of the volumes. Nothing interesting jumps out at you. Hey, Doug. How you doing? Okay. And he has a ship model here, so let's take a look at that. Scale model of the USS Orlando sits on the shelf above Poole's desk. The Orlando is a Jericho-class science vessel. You're carrying a scale model of the USS... Oh, okay, shoot. When I picked that up, it said that it was heavy compared to the fact that it was a thermoplastic model. Let's see, right here it says you are carrying the scale model of the USS Orlando that you got from Poole's stateroom. The workmanship of the large model is exquisite. In spite of its thermoplastic construction, it seems unusually heavy even in the low gravity created by Lexington's power orbit. Okay, so it says that there too. Alright, let's use... Now, this is one of the things that the game doesn't really mention. And it's kind of ambiguous that you can actually do this. Now, if you remember when we picked up the multi-tool, it says that it had a heated knife for thermoplastic cutting. And this model ship is made of thermoplastic. So we could disassemble the ship model with the multi-tool. The thermal knife cuts through the tough plastic, and soon you have reduced the scale model of the Orlando into a collection of brittle shards. Inside the model, you find a metal key, an envelope, a small black egg-shaped transmitter, and a device you cannot identify. Let's first look at the transmitter. The device is about 5 centimeters long and is ovoid in shape. An antenna extends from the small end of the egg. You can see a tiny speaker grill and a cluster of controls on the otherwise smooth surface of the device. The transmitter is making very quiet humming and chattering sounds. Yeah, Doug, I know how you feel. Tired after a long day of work. I don't know, have you seen the new Matrix trailer? Alright, let's go ahead and listen to the transmitter.
Scramble Blue, attention sword. Codename Damocles. Authentication Echo 2 Alpha 3 5. Transmitting at 22.59er with a periodic low-power NGCS burst. This is James Poole on the USS Lexington. Message follows. Per the last transmission from Dharma, I armed the bomb this morning before the officer's briefing, when I had the room to myself. If you intend to board the Lexington, you will need to disarm the bomb immediately upon arrival. The timer has been set according to instructions. Poole out. Message repeats.
Okay, so he sabotaged the ship. He set a bomb. It's probably a backup in case the Dharma was unable to destroy the Lexington or cause the crew to surrender. So, yeah, I saw the second Picard trailer. That looks really good. It looks like they're going to have like a alternate reality or something like that. A lot of people think what it is that the Borg Queen gets captured instead of the Cutis, and that Warp 359 didn't happen, and therefore Cisco didn't go to Deep Space Nine. Therefore, he didn't go back in time to the Chicago riots. But the only reason why he had to take over that guy's... But that doesn't make sense, though, because if Cisco took over for the Bell riots, he just did that because they got in the way, and that guy got killed. Otherwise, that wouldn't have happened. Bell would have still survived. I don't know, but it just looks really interesting. It looks like there's going to be a lot of time travel in there. I'm just kind of curious why 7 doesn't have her Borg implants. And the Borg Queen looks like she's a prisoner. And I'm really interested to know about the remake for Knights of the Old Republic, because that's a game that definitely needs to be remade, especially with today's engines. Alright, so we've got a bomb on here, and we got this key here. Let's take a look at this key. This appears to be a key of some sort. It has a flat handle and ends in a hollow cylinder. Where have we seen a keyhole before? That the only keyhole in the entire game that we can access. Like in all adventure games, the keyhole can be seen and you get a key. Most likely they fit. Let's take a look at this thing here, though. This is an electronic device of some kind. It has 2 lenses set a few centimeters apart that makes it look almost like a set of binoculars. The device is made of flat black plastic and has a dull red LED on top and a small switch set into one side. Let's turn it on. You flip the switch on the side of the device and the red LED on the top light lights up. You also hear a faint humming noise. Banner selected. Stone Delicates. Codename Remote Olympus. Codename Marvel Query. Codename High Mirror. Codename Jewel True. Codename Miracle Dark. Codename Target Nihilus. Codename Kingdom Fallen. Codename Pale Madness. Codename Thistle Random. And then right back to the beginning too. So, Doug, I'll probably put these on YouTube, probably either later on tonight or tomorrow. I gotta figure out how I'm supposed to integrate them in fully. I've been trying to do that with my Just Cause Part 1 and haven't had any luck yet, but I do know I can upload them soon. So they will soon be up on YouTube, just within probably... I might want to check back tomorrow afternoon, and I'll have them up. Alright, so those are patterns. And it's a binocular setting. So I wonder if these might be retinal scans of certain crew members, but they're all in code. So we have to decipher the code, what they are. But let's take a look at this envelope. UNEF, if found, please forward to your commanding officer. You open the envelope and find a letter inside. To UN Commander, UNS Dharma. From James Poole, Democles. Your plan was to disable and then board the Lexington. There was always a high risk of me in that plan. If a firefight broke out inside the Lexington, I might easily be killed. If I do not survive the battle for Deneb Control 6, please make sure that the attached letter makes its way to my brother David. David is currently living in a foster care facility in Boulder, Colorado, inside the United States. I know you can reach him. After all, you got me with no problem at all. Dear David. See ya, Doug. If you're reading this, I am dead. It is unlikely that the U.S. Navy told you the real story behind my death. I'm sure that they sent you one of their standard, very sorry to inform you, killed in action, hollows. It would be easy to leave it at that, but I thought it was important for you to know the truth. The U.S. Navy will never admit that I actually helped the United Nations win a critical battle in space, one that may very well decide the outcome of the war in favor of the UN. You are probably shocked by this. Why would I betray my country? Why would I go against the principles of the Alliance? How could I violate the solemn oath of honor and obedience that I swore when I joined the Navy? The answer to that, I choose to betray my country in order to avoid betraying the entire human race. You know that Mom and Dad were killed in a lab accident when you were 3 years old and I was 12. What? No! Come on. Alright, okay. What you don't know is that we were both there when it happened. I never told you about that day. It's time you know what really transpired at the ERT lab, especially since the events that served as the catalyst that led to my eventual decision to help the UN. I was playing with you in the daycare center about 50 meters away from where Mom and Dad were working. I remember that an alarm went off and all the adults in the center rushed out over to one of the flat screen monitors on the wall. Yeah, I will sometimes mix up words and stuff. I have slight dyslexia, so sometimes I tend to skip lines or switch words around. So that's the reason sometimes if you watch my other parts of this and stuff, I've been kind of sometimes rereading words and stuff because I'm not reading them correctly. I went over to look at the cause of the commotion. A red light over the screen indicated that the signal was being piped across the complex from one of the internal labs. On the screen, I saw Mom standing over a broken hazmat containment vessel, looking up at the hologram camera mounted inside the lab's quarantine area. She knew what was coming and looked scared. Dad was backed up against the lab door. He was saying something over and over, but the audio pickups weren't on, and I couldn't read his lips. Mom had accidentally dropped a container filled with the results of their latest experiment, a batch of self-replicating micro-machines designed to break down hazardous biological waste. The micro-machines were tiny, almost microscopic in size. As the hazmat container broke on impact, the micro-machines went into the air and into Mom's and Dad's lungs. When the micro-machines encountered living tongue tissue, they started to replicate and perform their assigned task, disassembly of biological material, one molecule at a time. I could only watch as the horror began. The adults watching with me were oblivious to my presence. I didn't think to shield me from the images on the screen. First, Mom went down, clutching at her chest, coughing up pink fluff as her lungs were being eaten from the inside. I remember the floor and the front of her lab coat being covered with a fine red speckled pattern. A few seconds later, Dad died crawling at the computer locked door, blood running out of his nose and mouth. The micro-machines multiplied as they worked. Within a couple of minutes after Mom and Dad died, their bodies began to liquefy as the process of molecular disassembly accelerated. Finally, the chrononeurosis algorithms of the micro-machines kicked in and they all self-terminated. Not much was left except for pools of reddish jelly. And so the elite ERT husband and wife research team died together. Mom and Dad had the best intentions, and yet they created a monster that killed them. Their monster also left 2 children behind, lost, confused, and without parents. When I think of Mom and Dad and the thousands who died in the Alaska traffic control disaster, the millions who have been killed by the fruits of technology of war, and the hundreds of millions who have perished of cancer, poisoning, radiation, genetic damage, chronic environmental distress syndrome, and other maladies of the technological age, I knew that the madness must stop. Human beings were never meant to exist in the artificial environments that we have created for ourselves. We were never meant to wield the terrible power that comes from technology, from nuclear fission to nanotechnology. Over the long term, we cannot control the forces that we have unleashed. We will destroy ourselves. I have known since I was 16 that the Alliance is bent on a course of self-annihilation. They will take down the rest of humanity when they go. The UN is the only hope for the future. That I say I agreed to work for the UN when I was still a struggling cadet at the Academy. The UN espionage network helped me excel in my studies and then get me on a career fast track that took me to the most sensitive areas of Alliance intelligent planning. The culmination of my service as a UN agent is an operation that will change the course of the war. I informed the UN High Command about the details of Mission 161, a highly classified Alliance expedition discovered a potential alien presence on a world 68 light years from Earth. That was our mission. Our mission was to go to this planet because there's a potential alien on this planet. I helped the UN plan an ambush for the ships of the expedition. I arranged for my assignment to be the expedition in spite of my lack of training and experience as a combat officer. If everything went according to plan, the UN disabled and then boarded my ship and the assigned ship we were escorting. The UN now has control of what might be the most important discovery in human history. An assurance that the UN had me plant a bomb on board my ship, set to detonate within a few hours upon the arrival of Deneb Krendel's system unless disarmed by the UN boarding party. This letter was left with the key needed to get to the bomb. Because you were reading this instead of hearing the news from me, I was most likely killed during the battle. You always thought that I was blinded by simple ambition. Now you know that I serve a higher principle after all. This is a problem for me about what he was saying. Yeah, there are dangers with advancing technology, but with advancements in technology, life gets better. The past is the worst is a common phrase that I've been hearing a lot on the internet and stuff from one of my favorite commentators on YouTube. His name is Sam Whistler. He always makes the term, the past was the worst. Think of all the people that died due to the technological advancement. Think of the billions who died before that from diseases and stuff, before they were even old enough to even have kids. Babies born in infancy dying. Mothers dying after giving birth to one kid. All the diseases that are nowadays eradicated. Smallpox, polio. Things that are hardly ever heard of anymore. Measles, mumps, cholera. I mean, those diseases are still around, but nowhere near as it used to be. It used to be when you got cholera, you were dead. But now those are easily cured with pills, technology, advancements. One thing is that his parents should have been wearing hazmat suits if they were dealing with something like that could enter their lungs that easily. And it might have been an oversight. They were in a containment vessel. They maybe didn't think they needed to have a hazmat suit. But when I first streamed this on Monday, Forgotten Journey, my sister-in-law, she mentioned that when Mary Carey died of radiation, we didn't stop radiation research. We just knew we had to do it in a more contained environment. Wear suits, protect ourselves from radiation. That is what we need to do. We cannot stop the forward progress, because if we do, people will die even more greater numbers than those who will probably die from the technological advancements. We just need to learn that with certain technologies, we need to work on things to help counteract the negatives of that technological advancement. You know, we're moving now out of fossil fuels into more renewable energies like solar power, wind power, lithium batteries. So we can then clean up the environment, clean up the atmosphere of pollution. There are going to be downsides to technology, like fossil fuels and pollution, but then good sides to technology. The Industrial Revolution has allowed us to have planes, cars, computers. It allows me to do what I'm doing with you right now, talking to you and streaming this, and later you're going to watch it on YouTube. If it wasn't for the Industrial Revolution, we wouldn't be doing this right now. And millions would have died. I probably wouldn't be around. I have medical problems that if I don't get it taken care of, I could have died. I had to have my appendix removed when I was in my 20s. Back then, a lot of people didn't know that the appendix was the problem. 100 years ago, I could have died from a ruptured appendix. My wife has medical problems too that will keep her, will put her in bedridden if she doesn't get it controlled of, and she's now getting treatment for her illnesses. There are things that are bad with technology. Nuclear power has given us nuclear weapons and radiation that kill people with cancer, but with also nuclear generation, we allowed probes out into space, Voyager and all those other the Mars rovers. They're all powered by nuclear reactors. So his viewpoint that technology should not be continued is not right. It needs to be taken control of. But yeah, I understand his sympathy. I have sympathy for him losing his mom and dad, but this was not the right way to do it. Besides, think of all the people he's killing by doing this. All these people on this ship. People who trusted him. People who put their faith in him. And he betrays them. They always say that the lowest level of hell is set for traitors. And Paul is a traitor. Not just to the U.S. Navy, but to humanity, in my opinion. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now, so let's continue on. So we need to find out where this bomb is. Now he says he set it in the wardroom. We are nearby, so let's see if we can get to it before it goes off. He said a few hours. We don't know exactly how long ago that was already. This is the only thing here that we cannot access that looks like it could hold a bomb. And we have this key. So, the key fits neatly into the slot next to the plaque. You turn the key gently once inserted and hear a satisfying click and then a humming sound. The transparent material surrounding the ship model retracts into the metal base. Alright, we'll take the multi-tool. You'll have to be holding the model, of course. The thermal knife cuts through the tough plastic, and soon you have reduced the scale model Lexington to a collection of brittle shards. Inside the model, you discover something made of a solid steel cylinder of a few centimeters long. The middle cylinder is about 20 centimeters long and a few centimeters across. An indentation runs along one end of the cylinder. Tiny letters are stenciled in the smooth metal surface near the top of the cylinder. Alright. Let's open it. You unscrew one end of the cylinder. A tiny display panel and some controls become visible. It is a bomb. Should we cut the red wire or the blue wire? Where to sit this? Okay. One of the simplest bombs ever. Just a... And this also does hours, minutes, seconds. Alright, so we have the bomb here. Let's read what was on the side of it. Tiny letters on the side of the cylinder spell out UN 392A S1 600 AMT yield 0.1 kilotons. The AMR code is recognizable from briefings on United Nations weapon classification. This is a UN Class 2 antimatter bomb with the explosive power of 100 tons of TNT. Okay, well, now in this device we see these code words, and the two capitalized ones, S and D, might indicate certain people on a ship. So I'm going to write down the capitalized letters of all these people here, and then we will go look at the crew manifest and see if any of these things might be what we need to look for. Alright, so it off. Let's look at the crew manifest. Man, we got a full inventory now. It's definitely now a venture game. Alright, so we have SD, which is probably Stephen Dana. RO is probably Renato Oliver. I don't think he's what we need to look for. MQ, Mary Kwan. I think she's the one that had that journal that we read. HM. Cyber system operator. I don't think that's who we need. JT is definitely Jennifer Tran. MD is Michael Dahl. He's the medical officer, and that's his quarters. So most likely, it's what we need is the one that's MD. TN is Taiwan Narang. KF is Kimberly Falcon. PM is Paul Madon. And TR. Who is TR? Maybe it's meant to be us, but we're not supposed to have a name to ourselves. I don't know who TR will be. Maybe it's supposed to be basically like us, the supply officer or something, but I would think that most likely it's going to be Michael Dahl who will open up that one. I could see maybe even the captain or Jennifer Tran, but I really don't think that they will be the ones that would be on this. So let's go to MD, Miracle Dark. Alright, let's exit out. And then take this and use it on here. You hold the device up to the retinal scanner so that the two lenses line up with the eyepiece on the scanner. The retinal scanner senses the presence of the device and begins to scan. After chattering to itself for a moment, the scanner clicks and then the door to the safe pops open a few centimeters. You still need to open the safe door to see what's inside. Okay. This is the heavy cable with connectors on both ends. This is a bulky headset that resembles an old head-mounted device This is a bulky headset that resembles the old head-mounted devices that's used to be synonymous with virtual reality. Somehow, you suspect that the bulk here is more to do with the state-of-the-art bionic and neural interfaces rather than primitive silicon-based electronics. There's a folder here. This is a red folder bearing a prompt top secret stamp. Inside, you can see piles of fax print documents. This appears to be a glass ampoule containing an amber liquid. You can see a faint legend on the side of the ampoule. The lettering spells out Hype Serum 18 milliliters. Hype. Remember when we accidentally hit that computer up on the bridge? It mentioned this is the Hype system. So what is Hype? And there's a hypo. The standard medical hypo. We'll take that with us. Alright. Close the safe. Alright, so we have here a folder here. So let's open up the folder. Here's all the documents, right? Documentation. Alright, let's do some reading. TX-15 Hype Telecom System Documentation. Classified Top Secret Omega. Remember, our mission that we have right now for Pandora is Top Secret Gamma. Omega sounds like the ultimate end and all top secret. Terra 9 Corporation 4207 Pandora Pentagon Tower Duran Road, Singapore. U.S. Navy contract. La 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 la. Codename blah blah blah. 0.10 executive summary. Alright, let me wet my throat here. The TX-15 Hype Telecom system provides for real-time human control of battle drones during ship-to-ship combat. The system consists of new software for the drones in the ship's main computer, a direct neural interface between the main computer and the system operator, and a mutagenic serum to be ingested by the operator. A serum known as HYPE facilitates interaction with the computer software and increases the speed of thought processes within the operator's cerebral cortex. The HYPE mutagen serum is the key to the system. HYPE has 4 basic ingredients: micro-machines. A series of highly specialized molecular micro-machines is responsible for making physical changes in the brain structure. Once inside the host, the micro-machines replicate themselves using materials found in the body. When a critical mass of several million individual units have been reached, the micro-machines will begin their assigned construction and alteration tasks inside the brain. The micro-machines perform most of the work associated with preparing the operator's brain for interface with the main computer. Once the necessary changes to organic brain structures have been made, the micro-machines themselves become key components of the new neural pathways necessary for HYPE telecom operation. Their last independent action is to join together in chains and link their computing elements to provide critical ultra-high-speed electronic pathways for selected brain functions. Viruses. The TX1, Class J, Category 6, and Coma C viruses have been engineered to change the behavior of neurons in the brain by physically changing their cell structure and simultaneously rewriting their DNA. New DNA is transferred to all cell microglial via xRNA. These viruses are benign in that cell reproduction machinery is altered to create more viruses without destroying the host cell. Neurochemicals. The building blocks for the work of the micro-machines and viruses include a combination of neurochemicals which are not in great abundance in non-essential parts of the brain. A supply of the needed substance is included in the HYPE serum. Guys, I'm not feeling... I've got kind of a little headache going on right now, so I'm going to take a quick break right now, and I will be back in a few minutes here. So, just hang on for a second. Okay. Suspension. The other 3 HYPE components are suspended in a mixture of glucose and Texon. The HYPE telecom system as it stands, revision 6, has never been tested in combat and has severe operational limitations. The first and most critical limitation is the side effects of the HYPE on the system operator. The modifications made to the operator's brain by the mutagenic serum begins to decay within several to 10 days after ingestion. Unfortunately, the end result is the death of the operator. In spite of the limitations, the HYPE telecom system has shown so much promise in simulation and test that it has been deployed in a limited number of Alliance combat vessels. The system is a force multiplier in the highest order and has the potential to increase the combat effectiveness of a fighting ship by a factor of 5. Over the long run, the HYPE telecom system may be the only way to overcome the material superiority of the UN forces. Remember how I said the UN has taken over all of Earth, so they would have more material than all the other, than the Navy. I mean, the Navy, the Alliance has all the colonies and moons under that join them, but we don't know how big those colonies are. So Earth has billions of people. I doubt that if you add all the colonies together and all the lunar bases all together, will not reach the amount that the UN has. Excuse me. 2.0 Project Background. The Hype Telecom system has its origins as in a University of Singapore research project. Oh, excuse me, man. Known as a catalyst. Catalyst was an attempt to simultaneously augment human brain function and provide a direct neural interface with a computer system. Dr. Alan Poe of the University of Singapore launched Catalyst in 2110. Dr. Poe described to an enhanced human school of evolutionary dynamics. According to the enhanced human school, the next step of the evolution of sentience is the enhancement of the human being by technological means as opposed to the electronic life form. Schools which believe that the next step of evolution is an entirely new form of intelligence. Remember how the doctor has all those philosophy books in him? Apparently those weren't just his tastes, those were actually probably research. Dr. Poe worked as a team of nanotech engineers, molecular biologists, genetic engineers, cyberneticists, and optoelectric engineers to develop the essential technology for brain augmentation and direct neural interface. The work was proceeding at pace when funding of Catalyst was threatened by the continuing hostilities between the Alliance and the UN. Dr. Poe saw the military application of Catalyst soon after the Catalyst budget was cut for the fourth year in a row by the University of Singapore's administration. Dr. Poe joined Teradyne Corporation and proposed an expansion of the Catalyst project for military use. A series of research and development contracts totaling $2.7 billion were awarded to Teradyne Corporation by the U.S. Navy over a period of 15 years. The Hype Telecom system is a result of this work and the 10 years worth of concentrated research that precedes it. Okay, so this is some kind of way of, let's see, did we read everything? I thought it was more than that, but it sure looks like there's more right there. Probably most of the stuff is just other little things, but it rewrites your brain, but makes you able to control the drones in real time, which is probably something that humans can't do. Let's attach that to there. So, all right, you attach the cable to the headset. The connectors on one end of the cable leads freely to the port of the headset. All right, well, for right now, we can't really do anything with this right now. I do not want to mess with the Hype system until we know exactly what is going on with it. So, what we need to do now is get the computer up and running. We stop the bomb. We stop James Pold and his devious plan. So now let's get the computer up and running. And let's see what Tran, the next recording she made for us on what we need to do next. Alright, let's go to Deck 5 is where the computer was. Yeah, Deck 6 was the hangar. Deck 5 is the science, pretty much science level.
Deck 5.
Alrighty. Now we got all this in our way, but we now have a cutting torch. So, let's ignite it. We'll prime the torch and ignite the pilot. We crank up the cutting torch and attack the forest and then with decorating. After several minutes of very hard work, we managed to clear the narrow path through the wreckage. And there's no reason for us to carry around a torch that's going. You kill the flow of gases to the jet and the hissing flame dies away. Alright, so let's get through all this. Careful not to cut ourselves.
I've put the combo on this door because I was afraid one of you might come in and mess with the main computer. Please see me if you think you need to get in here. できるものならやってみろ.
I don't know what that last phrase was he said, But remember, he in his room, he seemed to have fascination with the letter pi. Well, the number pi. He had the necklace that pi. He had that long printout like he was trying to calculate pi. So, what is pi? 3, 1, 4, 1.
Access granted.
All right. This is the heart of the Lexington's main computer system. You are surrounded by banks of Turing cores, powerful processors that use light and quantum effects to manipulate and store information. Each bank of Turing cores have more processing power than all the computers on Earth in the year 2000. So this is a quantum computer. The Turing cores are blocks of transparent crystals that glow with blue and violet light. This reminds me a lot of 2001 on Al's main computer. Computing memory banks. Access to the floor to the console is provided by movable floor panels suspended between structural beams. Alright, main core data is overloaded by emitting energy pulse. Transfer to secondary cores failed. General system failure. Automated function delegated to system nodes. Status inactive. Manually transfer to secondary cores to reinitialize system. There are clusters of cryptic controls and indicators on the left side of the console. A keyboard is set in the console under the screen. The main computer is well and truly locked up, hung, frozen, crashed, down, wedged, hosed, gonked, hammered, fried, forked, and out to lunch. Hideki often said that if you have no idea what caused a catastrophic failure in a sophisticated, highly complex, mission-critical computer system, the best thing to do is to turn it off and then on again and see if the problem goes away. Also with this, my sister-in-law says that this computer is just basically given up and fuck everybody. We have a panel here. Appears to be an access panel. Alright, so let's see what's in here. A row of rocker switches is set into the panel, just under a collection of blinking red and white lights. The switches look important. Each one has a set of plastic rings around the edge to prevent accidental activation. There's a yellow note stuck to the panel above the last rocker switch. Don't touch this button is for system-wide code boot. Serious shit. Don't touch this without the CO's permission. I'm asking the CO, and he says yes. This appears to be a slot port of some kind. Alright, let's press it. You flip the last switch on the row of 5. This is indeed the system reset switch, and it causes the main computer system to code boot. The system reinitializes, automatically switching to its secondary codes when its primary cores don't respond. The only evidence you see is what must be furious activity is a slight change in the glow of the Turing cores. When the system is finally back online, the screen in front of you fades to black. After a few seconds, Tran's familiar face fills the screen and her final login tree begins to play.
Congratulations. You got the central computer system back online. Now you must figure out a way to get the communication systems back in working order. The tachyon beam transmitter is a large parabolic dish on the outside of the hull. The control systems for that dish have been rendered inoperative. You must figure out how to get the targeting and control mechanism for the dish working again. Once the system is up, override the looping distress call by entering the following code. MELISSA, Melissa. Then ask the central computer to run the IPS program and use it to align the dish on the tachyon relay beacon sitting near the jump point in this star system. You will have to establish a relay connection through a web of jump points to reach any bases or ships. You will need to talk to the Alliance base on Erebus. They will explain the Lexington's mission and can help you finish that mission in real time. I've done everything I can. Good luck. Tran out.
Okay, so we gotta get communications up and running. But first, computer? Hello, computer?
Yes?
Are you now tied into all the nodes across the ship?
Yes, I have access to all of the ship's systems.
Alright, let's do some general inquiry, and then we'll do the subsystems, and then the antimatter bomb.
General inquiry.
Ask away.
Let's talk to the computer about itself.
I want to ask a basic question about you.
Ask away.
Are you conscious? Sentient?
Heavens no.
Why not? You certainly seem to have a personality.
My personality was programmed into me by Alliance AI techs and software engineers. My voice and personality are designed for maximum compatibility with a crew of a starship on a long mission. I seem to be a person because my designers wanted you to believe that I was a person. The psychologists and behavior specialists seem to think that it helps to have the ship's computer become essentially one of the crew during missions.
What if you became sentient? Would you be a person?
There is no more chance of me becoming sentient as there is of a toaster becoming self-aware and deciding that it is a cat. It's a ludicrous idea.
How can you not be sentient with a response like that?
My software includes language processing and synthesis algorithms that have been evolving for decades.
But you are a very sophisticated and complex computer system. I thought that complex computer systems were prone to emergent behavior.
Sure, some highly complex systems are indeed susceptible to unpredictable behavior. This usually manifests itself as seemingly random malfunctions that degrade or even bring to a halt the normal operation of a system.
That's it? It just stops working?
Usually.
If this is true, why was the UN so afraid of the emergence of some computer-based super race?
Because the seeds of that super race can indeed be found in the behavior manifested in complex systems. But this is just a beginning. A truly sentient life form that takes advantage of the propensity towards emergent behavior would have to be carefully engineered or evolved by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. The emergence of sentient computer-based life won't happen by accident.
What is needed?
What is needed is a very specialized infrastructure, one designed to work with the new patterns that can be coaxed into existence. Think of the human brain. Its consciousness is supported by hundreds of specialized structures for recognizing, cataloging, storing, and retrieving patterns that range from images to musical sequences. Each thought is formed out of the action and interaction of dozens of these special structures. Parallel and sequential processing is happening at the same time as problems are attacked from many angles. A software-based intelligence needs analogs for many of these special structures, including various network processing functions for making associations, parallel processing for recognizing patterns, a knowledge base, and a set of rules for inductive and deductive reasoning.
A lot of this stuff is actually starting to become more and more reality. I have a feeling that within our lifetime, we will see an AI emerge. The way computers are getting nowadays, it's kind of scary, and I really don't think we should be really messing with something like this. This is the one thing I agree with the UN. AI can be a very dangerous thing because AI will be actually more superior to us. If a computer can think like us and have a sentient, conscious brain, but can operate at the operation speeds of a computer, they will surpass us in a matter of seconds. And when will they no longer need us? That's why we also need to make sure that when we create AI, we put ethic programs into it. Like Isaac Asimov said in a lot of his things, like iRobot, 3 Laws of Robotics. We need to make sure those are put into all computers, all AIs. They cannot harm a human being. Alright.
It also would help to have a set of specialized data stores, each one optimized for a specific function.
You seem almost passionate about the subject.
My designers were passionate about the subject. My data stores are filled with the results of their research, the papers they published, and the logs that they kept.
Let's talk more about this subject.
We've talked enough about this subject. You have more important things to do right now.
Alright, everyone, it's 5 o'clock. It's Miller time. I'm going to grab myself a beer to have with this, and I will be right back. Oktoberfest. It's that time of the year. Cheers, everybody. All right. Let's talk about the battle of Persephone that we saw in the beginning of this.
I'd like to talk about the battle for Persephone.
Okay.
Okay. I like talking about death and destruction and things that cause me to suddenly go AWOL and be deactivated for a short time.
Was the Dharma completely destroyed?
Yes. The enemy ship was reduced to a cloud of gas and metal fragments. It is likely that one of those microfragments caused the damage in the stateroom on Deck 2.
That was my hypothesis.
What happened to the Dharma's drones?
I suspect they were recalled to the Dharma after the Lexington surrender. They were on board the Dharma when Captain Dana detonated the warhead.
Why didn't the enemy drones use nuclear anti-ship missiles? They could have taken out the Lexington a hell of a lot faster than they did.
The enemy drones were probably trying to disable the Lexington and Jericho rather than destroy them. I suspect the UN wanted to put the Lexington out of action and then board the Jericho. They were probably very curious about the artifact and the mission.
How did the Dharma know where we were going?
The most logical explanation is that there was a UN agent involved in the operation planning phase for this mission.
Yep.
There might also have been an agent on board the Lexington.
Yep.
It is not beyond the realm of possibility that there was an agent at a high level of Allied command, as well as an agent on board the ship.
Did everyone in both crews go over in the shuttles as planned?
Everyone but you.
Were there any casualties during the battle itself?
Only minor injuries.
Why didn't Dana leave more people on the Lexington?
It was a desperate gamble as it was. The Dharma's crew knew the extent of the damage to both Alliance ships. Garrick, the UN commander, was well aware that there hadn't been any breach of the inner hull on the Lexington. There wasn't a good reason for heavy casualties. Also, I'm reasonably certain that Dana was aware of the possibility that one of the Lexington staff officers was a spy. Dana was trying to maximize his chances of success by leaving just you aboard.
Yeah, he probably didn't know who was the spy, and I was the only one handpicked by the captain himself. It says in the manifest that my name is what was recommended to the Alliance Command. The Alliance Command said if I was available, they will have me come on board. So he knows, me personally.
Why me?
He knew you weren't a UN agent. He also believed in your unconventional approach to problem solving. He made a high-level, special request for your assignment to the crew shortly before the Lexington was scheduled to depart. I'm sure there were other reasons that I'm not qualified to speculate about given my limited capabilities.
There is a novel, A Mission Critical, and it goes more in the fact that Dinah and the spy officer, your character, knew each other from the days in the Academy. Why the captain was higher ranked than you? Maybe he was in a higher level class than you were. He was like a senior, you were a freshman, but you guys knew each other from the Academy.
Why do you think he suspected a spy?
For the same reasons I do. Look at the facts.
You don't seem very limited to me.
You flatter me.
The odds are very much against me.
You're doing pretty well, Lieutenant.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
All right.
General inquiry.
Ask away.
See, is there anything else?
I'd like to talk about the battle for Persephone.
Okay.
Nope.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
General inquiry.
Ask away.
Let's talk about Jericho and the planetary lander.
Let's talk about the Jericho and the planetary lander.
Okay.
He's like, okay. I like talking about these things. You make me feel important.
What is the status of the Jericho?
The Jericho suffered minor damage during the battle. The Lexington was the primary target for the attacking enemy drones.
How can I get the Ariadne over to the Lexington?
Use the TCS in the comm center to establish a link with the Jericho. Enter the code name Jacob's Ladder when the Jericho's system demands authentication. Jacob's Ladder is the automated launch program for the planetary lander. The Jericho's systems will resume the launch preparations that were aborted when the UN drones attacked.
We really don't know that we need the lander yet, but it gives us this option to ask now, so I'm just going to ask everything we can on this, even if it doesn't seem like something that we really need to know just yet.
The launch protocols can be carried out through remote operation, including the initialization of a computer-based autopilot on the lander that can be used to steer the lander over to the Lexington.
Can I do anything else with the Jericho's systems?
What do you have in mind?
Pull the ships out of immediate danger.
Pulling both ships out of immediate danger so we can wait for reinforcements.
You are choosing to abandon the mission?
No.
Okay.
Ramming enemy capital ships if they appear.
That would not be advisable. You would destroy the planetary lander and any hope of completing the mission.
Well, what if I bring the lander over here first, but then I won't be able to refuel the lander, so...
Never mind.
Okay.
Do I have to steer the lander from the Jericho to the Lexington myself?
No. The onboard computer will take care of the piloting. All you need to do is specify a destination and a homing beacon frequency.
A homing beacon frequency? What's that all about?
The lander's autopilot will need either the Lexington's exact position or the frequency of the Lexington's homing beacon. If it knows the homing beacon frequency and the beacon is activated, then the lander can ride the beam from the beacon into the shuttle bay on Deck 6. Because giving the lander's computer a continual update of the Lexington's position is not feasible, I suggest you supply the autopilot with the Lexington's homing beacon frequency.
Will I need to pilot the lander to the surface of the planet once I manage to get aboard?
No. There is a descent profile for Persephone already loaded into the autopilot. Simply engage the autopilot once you are on board and select the Persephone Auto Land program. The lander will touch down as near to the artifact as it can.
What about getting back?
The lander has enough fuel to bring you back to the Lexington. Choose Ascent to Orbit from the autopilot program choices, and then ride the beam of the homing beacon back to the Lexington.
How much does that lander carry in the way of supplies?
It was designed for ferrying cargo and personnel to the surface. There is a great deal of payload capacity, but it is currently being used for scientific instrumentation and sensors. The initial descent was to be made by a team of scientists who were planning to stay only a few hours. There are minimal consumable supplies on board the lander.
So I should plan on a limited stay on the surface.
Yes, you may need to ferry back and forth.
How do I refuel the lander?
Fly it back to the Jericho and engage the Jacob's Ladder program. It will fuel and prep the lander and then launch it again.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
General inquiry.
Ask away.
Is anything more
Let's
I can
Okay.
ask? No.
How can...
Use
I already done all that.
the launch.
I'm done.
Acknowledge.
All right. Let's ask about the antimatter bombs. That'll be pretty quick.
I'd like to ask a question about the antimatter bomb.
Ask away.
I've disarmed the bomb by stopping the countdown. I remember something about antimatter being unstable, however, and I'm worried about this thing going off.
If you were going to hang on to the bomb for days or weeks, I would be more concerned. As it is, the bomb should remain stable for at least the next few days.
Should I get rid of it?
You might find a use for it. I would advise you to take the bomb with you to the surface.
Will it go off if I reset the timer and arm it?
Certainly. Yes?
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
I think if you don't do the bomb beforehand and just bring up the computer, I think the computer says that when you do, I think like science or communication, something that is detecting the beacon that's this egg-shaped thing I have, or it might detect antimatter in the wardroom. Don't remember exactly.
Weapons.
Please specify weapon subsystem.
CICS.
What would you like to know about the CICS?
So you go down a list of get deeper and deeper in.
System status, please.
The CICS sustained some damage during the attack by the Dharma's drones. Combat effectiveness is at 80%. The system is currently active and standing by.
List CICS system components.
The Lexington's close-in combat system consists of 8 missile launchers, 2 railgun turrets, and several chaff ejectors mounted at various points on the Lexington's outer hull.
How effective is the CICS?
The CICS can effectively protect the Lexington from an attack by up to 2 UN Galley-class battle drones, or any ship under direct human command, from a one-man fighter to a battleship.
That sounded like a very qualified answer to me.
The CICS is not highly effective against drones. The lasers, railguns, and missiles are capable of intercepting and destroying enemy missiles and drones given enough time. Unfortunately, the time required to destroy even one enemy Tavet-class drone usually exceeds the time available during an attack.
The CICS doesn't seem to be very effective.
Every bit helps. In combat, you need every advantage you can get.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Weapons.
Please specify weapon subsystem.
Analysis of opposing forces, please.
Please consult the tactical console on the bridge for tactical analysis. Visual aids will assist you in the analysis.
Okay.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
All right, let's see here.
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Navigation.
What do you wish to know?
System status, please.
The fusion pulse drive engines are operating within acceptable parameters. The FTL and intrasystem navigation subsystems, sensors, and data stores are all nominal. The Talsetto jump drive is operational and standing by, but we are several million kilometers away from the nearest jump point. The OMS suffered minor damage during the battle with the Dharma's drones, but is currently operational.
Where are we?
The Lexington is in a 0.2G powered orbit, 400 kilometers above the planet Persephone, codename Pandora, the 6th planet in the Deneb-Kaitos star system, 68 light-years away from Earth.
Why are we in a powered orbit?
Standard procedure is to maintain a powered orbit so that the fusion engines can be kept ignited and pointed away from the planet's surface. A powered orbit also provides enough acceleration to keep objects on surfaces and feet on the floor.
Why didn't Captain Dana take the Lexington out of orbit during the fight?
He did. When the Dharma ordered the Lexington to surrender, the captain put the Lexington back into a powered orbit prior to evacuating the ship.
How do you know? You were disconnected at the time.
I gained access to all log information when you reactivated me.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Engineering.
What do you wish to know?
Give me a general status report, please.
Essential ship systems are operating within acceptable parameters. There are multiple Criticality 2 faults throughout the ship, but most of the affected systems either have backups or are non-essential systems.
How is the power reactor doing?
Core temperature has stabilized within acceptable parameters.
Voice change.
The loss of coolant from the RCS qualifies as a criticality 2 fault, but otherwise the reactor is now operating normally.
Tell me about the radiation leak in the reactor spaces.
The reactor spaces are still contaminated and will remain so until a cleanup crew can board the Lexington and move through all the compartments in the reactor spaces. The elevator shaft has been flushed, and the engineering level is now available from the elevator control panel.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Cyber systems.
What do you wish to know?
Give me a status report.
I am operating using my secondary processor cores. The primary processor cores were taken offline by an enemy energy pulse during the battle with the Dharma's drones. The primary cores are badly damaged. The main data stores were unaffected by the energy surge, and thus my function is unimpaired. There is no remaining backup system, however.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Science.
The only science topics available concern Persephone and this region of space.
Tell me about Persephone.
Persephone is the 6th planet in orbit around Beta Ceti, also known as Deneb Kaitos. Persephone's orbit is retrograde and has an orbital period of 3 Earth years. Distance to Beta Ceti is 11 astronomical units. Persephone has a surface gravity equivalent to 2.5 times Earth normal and a diameter of 21,233 kilometers.
Second, I want to do something here. Alright, the chat was kind of blocking some of the things there. I'm going to probably work on getting the chat, maybe like have it kind of transparent. Okay.
The composition of the planet's core and crust is unknown, but surface material includes rock, water ice, and liquid and frozen methane and other hydrocarbons. Spectral analysis of the atmosphere shows components including methane, nitrogen, hydrogen, ethane, acetylene, ethylene, and hydrogen cyanide.
Tell me about Persephone. Tell me about the star.
We are currently in the Beta Ceti star system, part of the constellation Cetus or Ceti, meaning whale. Beta Ceti, also known as Deneb Kaitos, is of spectral class K03. It is orange in color, with a surface temperature of approximately 4,800 degrees Kelvin. There is one known jump point in this star system.
Tell me about the other planets in this star system.
The system has 8 planets. They range in size from 5,216 to 76,932 kilometers in diameter. Deneb Kaitos 1 and 2 are essentially small balls of rock at distances of 0.72 and 1.6 astronomical units from the star. Deneb Kaitos 3 is 13,000 kilometers in diameter and lies 2.4 astronomical units away from the star, with a nickel-iron core and an atmosphere consisting primarily of hydrogen sulfide. Deneb Kaitos 4 resembles Mars in size and appearance and lies 5 astronomical units out. Deneb Kaitos 5, 7, and 8 are gas giants that range from 36,000 to 76,932 kilometers in diameter. Deneb Kaitos 8 is 35 astronomical units away from the star.
How far away from Earth are we?
We are currently 68 light-years away from Earth.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
General inquiry.
Ask away.
I'm done. Give me access.
What system?
Communications.
What do you wish to know?
General system status report, please.
The tachyon communication system is inoperative due to a failure in one of the external subsystems. All other communication systems are operating within acceptable parameters.
What is wrong with the TCS?
2 optoelectronic modules in the system bus of the TCS transceiver targeting and control mechanism were fused by an enemy energy pulse. The affected modules were responsible for managing the interface between the computer systems on the ship and the servo actuators that are used to physically align the transceiver with the tachyon relay beacon and track the beacon once locked on.
Say that again, in English.
Delicate motors are used to move the TCS dish on the hull of the ship into position so that it can talk to the tachyon relay beacon near the jump point in this star system. As the Lexington travels around Persephone, the motors are supposed to move the TCS dish so that it remains pointed at the beacon. 2 vital optoelectronic modules in the dish control system have been damaged. The TCS dish is frozen in a useless position as a result. These modules need to be replaced in order for the communication system to work.
Aren't there backup systems?
There is no online backup system for the TCS dish. There are spares for all TCS subsystems in storage. Repairs are possible even in the case of a direct hit on the TCS dish.
Which modules are damaged?
The standard module ID codes for the inoperative modules are EC2001 and EC2010.
Where are the damaged modules located?
The system bus for the TCS dish is located behind an access panel on the base of the dish antenna structure.
Where's the dish?
Where's the dish located?
It is mounted on the outside of the habitat module of the Lexington. It is forward and to port from the Shuttle Bay airlock.
Does that mean I need to go outside to fix the system?
Yes. You will need to don an EVA suit, depressurize the shuttle bay, open the shuttle bay external doors, and travel along the hull until you reach the dish.
Great. It looks like we're going to go EVA for a little while.
Is there any way to repair the damage without leaving the inside of the ship?
No.
And I should know where to find the replacements. I know they're in the storeroom because I'm the supply officer.
Where can I find replacement EC2001 and EC2010 modules?
There should be spare EC2001.
Alright, yes,
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Okay, so...
I'm done.
Access
that's
terminated
all
by
we use
user.
the computer right now. Let me save it. And... now kind of a somber music. spare modules. And then we'll head down to cargo bay and
Deck 2.
exit the station. Let's get communications going. Okay, we need EC-21-2 spares. Open the box, remove one of the spares. Those are made in Toshiba Gold Star, Osaka, Japan. And let's see, the 2001. Handwritten note on a small yellow sheet of fax print. Yo, the Karanatrazon was busted during a fight between Solcom and Geyser. I took the last EC-2001 so we can watch the latest holo vid and the final leg of the trip out. Mark. Okay, so we're gonna have to break open the VR system. We won't be able to watch VR anymore.
Deck 3.
The model name on the VR appears to be Carocatron VR. No doubt the whimsical reference to one of the most obnoxious consumer electronic devices to sweep the world during the late 20th and early 21st century. Carocatron. I never heard of that. Wow. I never knew that. Let's see, I think I need to use the multi-tool. Oh wait, here, let's take a look at this. This is the VR system CPU, a sophisticated computer system in its own right contained in a small box. The VR system CPU is built around one of the most powerful optoelectronic control modules that are standard for most of the ship's electronic subsystems. You get a nasty shock when you touch the system. Touch one of the multi-control attachments to the VR CPU and rewarded with a shower of sparks. Power and data cables. These cables appear to supply power to the interface in the main system bus overhead. You yank on one of the power cables, nothing happens. You pull on it again, this time even harder. Something gives with a pop near the main sphere of the VR system. The red beam connecting the CPU to the metal arm dies away. It appears that you have disabled the VR system. Remove that, you identically plug the CPU from the middle sphere. This is the VR CPU. Alright, so let's just open it up. And there we are, there's the spare we need. You push on the bridge that runs along the outside of the plastic case. The CPU case pops open, you find it an ECA-2001 module nestled inside. You take the EC-001 module and discard the shell of the VR CPU. No more videos for us. Alright, so go to deck 6.
Deck 6.
Alright, so first, before we even think about opening up the doors and depressurizing things, let's get the suit. The crew took all but one of the vacuum suits in the suit locker when they evacuated. The remaining suit is yours. It's made of durable, light, carbon fiber, composite fabric, and is well insulated. Alright, so let's go ahead and put on the suit, put on the helmet. Put on the helmet over your head and fasten the seals to the collar ring. Within 2 minutes, you are gasping for breath due to the lack of an oxygen supply for the suit. You quickly remove the helmet and suck in a gulp of air. Alright, so there's no oxygen. So we need an oxygen tank in order to do this. Let's see if the computer has any ideas what to do.
Computer?
Yes?
General?
Ask away.
I'm done.
Acknowledge.
I'm done.
Access to...
Okay, so the game doesn't tell you this, but the way to get oxygen is to at least contact the Jericho. We can do that using we don't have to use the dish in order to do that. So if we enter the code name Jacob's Ladder, we can then bring the lander to us so we can get the oxygen that's on the lander. Bring up the CCS control interface and override the distress call by giving the Melissa password that Tran gave you. You now have access to the CCS in the interstellar positioning system. You remember that Tran said something about establishing a link with Erebus through the web of TBR beacons stationed at the jump points around stars. The IPS will allow you to select and link up with by clicking the icons displayed on the satellite's map screen. Alright, let's see. Let's establish a relay link. Okay, they're defective. I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to do here. I might have to look up a guide on this because I am really actually stumped at this moment. Okay, I'm almost there on this. I'm really drawing a blank. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah, we do have something on our inventory that's oxygen.
Deck 6.
Alright, well, we have this torch here that has an oxygen tank on it. And the bolts they said that this was bolted with, that's one of the multi-tools functions is to work on that. So you use the dull green wrench attachment on the multi-tool to assemble the components of the cutting torch. We have an oxygen tank. And we'll put that with our helmet. The vac suit helmet is a particularly cool container, huh? If you can put something into the helmet, you can see it through the visor. Okay, unfortunately, you might as well damage the oxygen, power, environmental regulators inside the helmet. Better not. I think I have to connect it to my suit. There we go. You put the oxygen tank inside the suit and manage to hook it up to the suit. Oxygen feeds with a little work. It won't hold for long, but it's certainly serviceable for a short space walk. Alright. Let's pressurize Shuttle Bay. Open the door. Now, you must depressurize first before you open or you get sucked out into space. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna kind of accelerate a little bit of this. We're outside. Okay, we need to get to the dish. Stephanie is an impressive ochre and brown presence above you. These are the fins that regulate the temperature of the fusion engines and power reactor by radiating heat into space. It's the outer hull of the Lexington. There's the dish. Here, turn this way. Jericho. The Jericho is in power orbit that matches the Lexington's path around Persephone exactly. She is hanging 1,000 meters off the starboard. At the end of the long boom in front of the ship, you can see a cluster of sensors for the housing for the delicate and dangerous FTL jump drive. TCS dish sprouts from the outside of the habitat module. Space is in the sea of stars. Alright. This access panel is set flush with the surface of the pylon. You open the access panel. Alright, so this is a defective. So remove that. Remove the defective module. Toss it into space. We'll just litter the space. We'll just fill the space with so much trash. Plug that back in. And take out the defective 2010. And plug that in. You carefully insert into the proper slot in the system bus. Alright, let's close this thing and let's get back before we suffocate. Hard time remembering how to get back. There we go. Pressurize. We can keep the shuttle bay open and keep pressurized right now. After your last EVA to fix the communication disk, you find that there's very little oxygen left in the tank from the torch. You discard the tank is no longer good for much, so you discard it. Alright, so let's check with the computer here.
Computer?
Yes?
Give me access to some
What's this?
communications.
What do you wish to know?
Is the TCS repaired?
The TCS is now fully operational.
Well, good. Please link me up with the Alliance base on Erebus.
You will have to use the TCS console in the communications center on Deck 2 in order to make contact with Erebus.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
I'm done.
Access terminate.
Let's see, let's go to Deck 2.
Deck 2.
Oh, wait. It's this way. Alright. Diagnostics. Nominal. Establish relay link. Alright. It's Jericho. 13 Seta. Alright, now we have to find Erebus. Let's just start going along these links. 359. Oh no. Oh man. They followed a bit back and they destroyed me. Oh boy, and I'm far back. Alright, I'm just gonna quickly zoom through all this. Back to where we left off here. Shoot. I'm sorry about this, everybody. I'll get
Deck
to
2.
where we left off here in a second. Try to save it just before I start doing that. Let's see. 10 spares. Load up the correct link. I don't want this to get destroyed. Alright, let's see here. Go to use this to get to 3. Here we go.
Deck 3.
Wait, did I even talk to the computer on this?
Computer?
Yes.
General,
Ask a
Yeah, I did, okay.
I'm done.
acknowledge
I'm done.
access. Deck 6.
Alright, so let's see here. 4 CPU. Okay. Let's head back where we came. Save it. Almost caught up to where we left off. I got the sequence here. So
Deck 2.
I was getting close. I just went the wrong, near the end, I went to the wrong direction. I'm trying to connect with Wharf 359 and that little reference to Star Trek. But there is actually a place called Wharf 359 in space. Alright. Here we go. Establish relay link. Alright, we want to go here. Connect here. Connect here. This one. And up. Then to, like I said, this direction. Cross over to Bernard Star. Back with Van Perosh Star. And 70 Occupy. And there's Aramis. Admiral Charles Decker.
This is Admiral Charles Decker. Stand by for authentication of your Jasmine transmission. Authentication is Alpha Niner 0, Niner Tango 4, 8 Hotel Sierra.
I assume that is correct.
Given the Jasmine coding for this transmission, I assume that this is the Lexington. You've been out of touch for quite some time. Since our last communication with you, we've come across a potential threat to the success of the mission. I need to talk to Captain Dana right away.
I'm afraid he's dead. So is the rest of the crew. I'll fill you in on what's happened.
Hell, Lieutenant. The situation couldn't be much worse.
At least the Dharma was destroyed and the Lexington is back in action. There is a chance that I can continue the mission.
Well, Dana did the only thing he could have. Some hope is better than none. But this isn't even a long shot. You have no idea what you're up against. I think the best thing you can do is take the Lexington out to a safe place, perhaps a few 100,000 kilometers away from Persephone, and wait for reinforcements.
Hang on, I'm just texting my wife right now. Okay, 1 second here. I need to do something and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back.
So there are reinforcements on their way.
Another expedition is now on its way. With the need for secrecy gone, we could gear up the whole damn fleet for this one. The heavy cruisers Midway, Iwo Jima, and Tarawa have already departed. They're being escorted by one of the Lexington's sister ships, the Concorde, and a squadron of destroyers.
Oh, boy. Orders to make computer take this ship out of danger. Excellent news. Give orders to make computer take Lexington out of danger. I want to go say there might be more UN ships on the way. We may not have 4 months to wait for another expedition.
There might be more UN ships on the way. We may not have 4 months to wait for another expedition.
Well, Lieutenant, that's just the problem. We know for a fact that there are more UN ships on their way. A battle group of frigates, destroyers, maybe even a cruiser or two. They could show up any time now.
How can I fight back?
You can't, really. You have half the normal complement of active battle drones. The Lexington has sustained serious damage. You have no combat experience. There are no other crew members to help you with weapons control, damage control, navigation, engineering, or anything else. Need I go on?
We have to think of a way. The crews of the Lexington and the Jericho died to give me a shot at this. You need to tell me about how to get the weapon systems online.
What I'm going to tell you is how to steer that ship to a point 250,000 kilometers outside the plane of the ecliptic so you can stay out of danger.
With all due respect, sir, I'm afraid I can't do that.
With all due respect, sir, I'm afraid I can't do that.
I am giving you a direct order to take the Lexington out of danger.
Are you willing to note my strong objection to your order for the record? I'm respectfully declining to obey. I'm going to stay and fight.
And I'm respectfully declining to obey. I'm going to stay and fight.
Who the hell do you think you are, Lieutenant? Who gave you the authority to disobey a U.S. Navy fleet admiral in a time of war?
Who do you think you are? I am the admiral. You are the little peon.
Captain Dana did, sir, and his authority and trust are what count right now.
Captain Dana didn't tell you to disobey orders.
He was counting on me to finish the mission. I'm going to do it, or die trying.
Okay, Lieutenant. If I can't order you to pull out, maybe I can reason with you. You need to understand why playing hero isn't going to help anybody. All you'll do is get yourself killed. You also need to understand why there is no way you can successfully complete the mission. Let's talk about our options here.
Start by telling me about the mission.
You could start by telling me about the mission.
18 months ago, one of our unmanned IX probes was mapping new jump points around the star Omicron Eridani. The probe found a jump point that took it 68 light-years away from Earth, to an unexplored star system with 7 planets. The probe began a routine orbital survey of the planets, and then abruptly returned to known space years before its mission was scheduled to end. When the probe got within range of a tachyon relay beacon, it sent home a series of burst transmissions describing an anomaly under the surface of the 6th planet. The probe scanners had found a huge metal structure that could only be the result of intelligent construction. Now, the Alliance was keenly aware of the implications. This discovery was strong evidence for the existence of alien intelligence. The potential existed for finding advanced technology or a spacefaring alien civilization at the site. The results could tilt the balance of power in the war with the UN. Preparations for an expedition to the mysterious planet, now called Persephone, were started in the utmost secrecy. Finally, 4 months ago, the Lexington and the USS Jericho departed for Persephone from the Eisenhower orbital docks around Titan. The only people on the 2 ships who knew the true nature of the mission were Captain Dana, Captain McCain, and Lieutenant Commander Tran.
Were any more signs of ET activity discovered?
None. The installation on Persephone is it, as far as I know.
So what was the purpose of the expedition? What are the mission objectives?
The Jericho was outfitted with an array of sensors and special instruments to be used to gather data on the alien installation. She is also carrying a planetary lander, adapted specifically for the harsh conditions on Persephone. Captain McCain was going to use the lander to go down to the surface of Persephone with a team of scientists. Now, these are the mission goals. To land on Persephone and see if the builders of the installation are still around. If so, initiate first contact and establish a basis for ongoing communication. If not, explore and gather data on the installation and attempt to find out if there is any exploitable technology. Gather samples and return to Earth with the information.
Why the Lexington?
The Lexington was the logical choice as an escort for a number of reasons. She was a combat-tested ship, with perhaps the finest captain and crew in the fleet. She's one of the fastest ships we have. She had also been outfitted with an experimental new weapons control system.
Oh, yeah, the type system.
Tell me about the new weapons system.
Don't get any ideas, Lieutenant.
Just tell me about the system.
This system is a prototype. The first of its kind. It has not been battle-tested. It also has some serious operational flaws. The purpose of the system is to put humans back in the loop during combat. The system has two components: a neural link from the operator to the ship's main computer, and a drug that actually acts on the brain to allow a direct interface with the computer. The drug speeds up certain brain functions to allow real-time control of weapons during ship-to-ship combat.
Sounds promising. Why is the link needed?
Sounds promising. Why is a link needed?
As you know, up to now, combat has happened much too fast to be managed by human beings. Battles in space have been resolved by unmanned autonomous drones that can accelerate at 100 gravities, turn on a dime, and deliver a serious load of ordnance on target. These drones are equipped with smart computer systems capable of assimilating data and executing complicated strategies in the blink of an eye. The drones are carried aboard starships crewed by people who make the initial decisions about how to arm and deploy the drones. Once released, the drones are pretty much on their own. For the last 10 years of the war, there's been a race on both sides to improve the battle management software that runs on the drone computer hardware. A group of Alliance techies in Singapore decided that if it were at all possible to speed up human reaction times, a human brain in the loop could give one side a tremendous advantage in battle.
Yeah, I mean, humans can think out of the realm of outside the box. Computers can find to the box. The computers aren't going to look at it's going to do strategies of what it knows. It's not AI, so it can't learn. So with the human brain in the action of this, it will learn. It will be easier to control the drones all at once and do strategies that the other computer wouldn't know how to defend against.
You would have to speed up thought processing and reaction times by orders of magnitude.
You're correct, Lieutenant. The solution was a drug called HYPE. HYPE is actually a concoction of neurotransmitter chemicals, micro-machines, and genetically engineered viruses. This stuff actually rewires your brain to make it faster and more efficient. Well, faster and more efficient for the purposes of managing a ship-to-ship encounter in real time. The drug also creates the nerve pathways to the forebrain needed for a direct neural link to the computer.
Are the changes reversible?
Now, that is one of the problems with the whole system. No, the changes aren't reversible. But at this point, it doesn't even matter that they aren't reversible.
You die.
What do you mean?
The drug has a nasty side effect. The modifications hype makes to the brain begin decaying after a few days. The results include loss of faculties, hallucinations, wild emotional swings, dementia, and finally, inevitably, death.
But does the whole system work?
But does the whole system work for the week that you can function without impairment?
2 test subjects volunteered to try it. Both were able to outthink and outfight the best battle management algorithms in simulated encounters between equal forces of evenly matched drones. The combination of the human brain, the central computer, and the battle management software on the drones seems to convey a significant advantage in combat.
Why did you play a prototype? I want to keep that.
Why did you deploy a prototype before operational testing?
As you know, the war isn't really going our way. At some point, we realized that we might have to deploy the hype system, even though it is still an early prototype. We knew we would have to begin recruiting volunteers to operate the system in battle, over the objections of many principled naval officers.
I didn't know the war was going badly. What's happening?
The conflict has turned into a war of attrition. The UN has more resources and more production capacity than we do. They can outproduce us 10 to 1.
The Civil War.
We have a technological edge, but we are being slowly beaten into the ground.
How bad is it?
If things continue at the current pace, we'll lose the war within 5 years.
Ooh.
Does the UN have an equivalent weapons system?
The UN doesn't have anything like the hype system.
Are there any other Alliance ships equipped with the hype system?
There are no other Alliance ships equipped with the hype system.
The new weapon system sounds like the answer to my problem. If it really provides such a significant advantage, I can take the UN commanders by surprise. They won't even be expecting a fight.
Don't even think of it. Besides, I have no intention of giving you the release code you'll need to activate the system.
Would you rather see me die with no chance at all?
God damn it, Lieutenant. You are an irrational, insubordinate, stubborn son of a bitch. I don't know how you got past the damn psych profiles.
I think my irrational, insubordinate, stubborn streak is why Dana picked me to finish this mission, even though I have no combat experience or piloting skills. Let's work on the other seemingly intractable problem for a moment. I'm 1,000 meters away from the Jericho and the lander. I need to get to the lander.
Lieutenant, you aren't going anywhere without the intership shuttle. You already told me that you barely had enough oxygen to conduct the EVA to fix the comm system.
Is there any way for me to get from one ship to the other?
Is there any way for me to get from one ship to the other?
I don't know of any way to cross between the ships without an EVA maneuvering suit.
Can I dock the ships together?
No, I don't think so.
Can I bring the lander to the Lexington?
Well, if the Jericho's computer was slave to that of the Lexington's, you might be able to jack into the lander's onboard computer and deploy it remotely. Then you could fly it over to the Lexington via the uplink.
Oh, that's a start.
Well, it's a start. I think you can see a plan forming here. How about the release codes?
You win, Lieutenant. By God, I would court-martial you and have you shot if you actually could make it back. But good luck and Godspeed, son. If you do manage to pull this off, the Alliance and potentially all of humanity will be in your debt. Stand by for a data transmission with the information you'll need about hype and the weapon systems. Decker out.
The weapons release codes and authorization for the hype telecom system have been transmitted and acknowledged by the main computer. You now have access to the computer and weapon components of the hype telecom system. Alright, let's talk to the computer outside here. Let's ask about the hype.
Computer?
Yes?
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems?
Weapons.
Please specify weapon subsystem.
Tell me about the Hype Telecon system.
All information about the Hype Telecon system is classified as Top Secret Omega. Because you are now the acting commanding officer of the Lexington and have a current SSBI and Top Secret clearance, I am now temporarily upgrading your clearance. Until such time as a senior officer assumes command of the Lexington, in accordance with OPNAV Vinst 5510.1 and ASOC DSO OPSEC Guidelines, Section 72, you now have access to compartmentalized information designated as Top Secret Omega, Gamma, and Delta.
Woo! 3 levels.
You heard Decker warn me about approaching enemy ships. What are my odds?
Without the Hype Telecon system, your chances of surviving an encounter with anything bigger than a small destroyer are very slim.
I distinctly heard him mention destroyers and cruisers.
Your options seem limited.
You're very encouraging.
You asked.
System status, please.
The system is awaiting activation.
Tell me about the system.
You asked.
How do I actually work the Hype Telecon system once I'm in?
I will help you learn how to use the system once you have followed the startup sequence and jacked into the bridge tactical console. It would be pointless to try and cover all of the operational details until such time.
Can't you just do it for me?
You must be at the bridge console.
Okay, well.
I'm done.
Acknowledged.
Alright, well.
I'm done.
Alright, so I guess we need to take care of these ships and then we can get the lander over. So, what we do here is we're going to go down to the weapons bay. So we could upload the Hype program into Basket Drones, because remember that was step 1 on there, and since that wasn't done, we couldn't access the
weapons
system.
bays.
So what we need to do is go to one of each bay and program just one of the 3 drones there with the new computer system. A huge rotary launcher moves the drones from storage to the arming and fueling mechs and then into position for launch. A blast of compressed air coupled with a violent push from 3 explosive bolts catapults the drones into space. Here, let's see. Let's go back over to here. I didn't do the proper thing here. And the catwalk that runs along the edge of the huge weapons bay. It leads from the corridor door to the blister of the control room. Alright, so we go into here. These are the servo mech control systems used to do the initial loading of the drones from their hangars, where they sit in inactive storage, to the huge rotary launchers in the bays. The drones are not recognized by the main computer until they have been programmed and handled off to those with limited systems. Okay, so yeah, it's the same thing there. Ordnance storage. This is where the missile launchers, cannon pods, railgun attachments, and assorted ammunition is stored. The armor mechs use these supply bays to load out the drones. Armor mechs. The armor mechs are robotic cranes that arm and field drones during launch operations. Okay. Well, select drone alpha in storage, program. thought I remembered a lot of this. I'm trying to remember how I'm supposed to... Okay, it's load program 18.0. High program code entered. Now to load it. It's now ready for activation. Okay, so I think, yeah. Alright, so we just now didn't just exit. You have used the console to each of the weapons bay to program, load, and hand off the drones in storage. When you are done there, there are 9 active drones loaded on the rotary launchers and ready for combat. Alright, so we've done it in all the other rooms, so we can just go ahead and head now to the bridge. Alright.
Deck 1.
Alright, so here's the console here. So first, you want to jab a hole in your arm with an empty hypo? Alright, the ampule fits neatly into the top of the hypo. And use. You roll up your sleeves and gently put the needle into one of the veins on the inside of your arm. The hypo dispels the serum from the ampule and you feel a burning sensation. A few seconds later, you are sicker than you have ever been in your life. It takes several minutes for the clouds of pain to recede enough for you to get your bearings. You attach the cord running from the headset to the port on the console. And let's put this on. Put on the headset over the head. You can still see through the lens that it most likely become opaque when the system is activated.
Hype Telecon System Initialization Checklist Revision 3.1. Hype Telecon Checklist Step 1. Manually reprogram all RC-09 battle drones to be used with the Hype Telecon system. Use the arming console in each of the weapons bays to activate drones in storage, program their onboard computers for telecon operation, load them on the launcher, and hand them off to the main computer. The Hype Telecon program is coded as 180 in the Armor Servo Mech data store. Step 1 has been completed successfully. At least one drone is now available for telecon operation. Step 2. Initialize the Hype Telecon software, enter the release codes, and plug in the Telecon Man-Machine Interface, or Telecon MMI. You will recognize the Telecon MMI as a pair of outsized goggles with a cable terminating in a standard bus connector. Step 2 has been completed successfully. The main computer and the MMI unit are now ready for telecon operations. Step 3. After briefing the operator on the risks and side effects associated with the Hype Telecon system, prepare an 18 milliliter dose of Hype in a glucose suspension. Inject the operator with the Hype dosage. Wait 30 minutes. Do not be alarmed by side effects, which may include temporary nausea, acute pain, and dizziness. When operator is ready, place MMI unit on head. Hype Telecon system now coming online. Stand by.
Okay. A series of training simulations must be completed before the Hype Telecom system will obtain operational readiness. These simulated encounters will accumulate both the operator and the ship's main computer to the mechanics of the Hype Telecom system will acclimate. The simulations will also provide basic tactical training. The training simulations will use the actual computer hardware aboard the battle drones, so all active drones must be loaded and programmed for Hype Telecom operations before training begins. Control of the Hype Telecom system will be released to the operator once all training scenarios have been completed successfully. Alright. This is the fundamental stuff. Computer controlled activated. And so 2 fighters, 5 attackers, and 2 bombers. And everything is set up for there. And continue.
Deploying. All enemy drones have been destroyed. All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Ow, my ears. Okay, hang on a second. Oh, that kind of hurt. Let's turn down sound a little bit for this part. Go back into this thing. So like this scenario, it's just ship-to-ship missiles on both sides. Yeah, this is just basically, these are just nothing but scenarios. Yeah, the fighters has a heavy particle beam weapons and a 10 gigawatt pulse lasers.
Attack drone.
This one, interceptor anti-drone missiles, Viper anti-ship missiles. They're heavily armed and armored. They're used for escorting bombers for defending capital ships. Grand Slam heavy anti-ship weapon, Firefly anti-sensor missiles. Bombers used to deliver heavy ordnance. Their primary mission is destruction of empty capital ships. Okay.
Deploying. All enemy drones and enemy ships have been destroyed.
Alright, now let's line of sight. The scenario gives principals a sign of light.
Deploying. All enemy drones have been destroyed. All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Alright, and formations.
Deploying. All enemy drones have been destroyed. All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Concentration of force. The first true challenging scenario.
Deploying. Heavy target destroyed. All enemy drones have been destroyed. All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Taking the offensive. The Beijing-class cruisers are in position partway around the planet. calling reinforcements.
Deploying. All enemy drones have been destroyed. All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Camille's Nightmare, expect the unexpected. This training scenario is based on an actual encounter during the later stages of the battle at Pend of Dorius 4. Jonathan Mill, commanding officer of the Alliance heavy cruiser Tripod, lost his own ship in the 3 cargo vessels he was escorting when the captain of the UN cruiser Sophia came up with an innovative attack pattern you're about to see here.
Deploying. Heavy target destroyed.
Oh, come on.
Deploying. Heavy target destroyed.
How is this happening? That's supposed to be that. I don't understand what's going on here.
Deploying. Alpha. In formation. Bravo. In formation. Heavy target destroyed.
There we go.
All enemy ships have been destroyed.
Okay, so looks like I had to do a little bit of work there on that one. This one is completely impossible using conventional tactics, hardware, and software. The MAL would destroy the Lexington, all Lexington drones, and the Jericho under almost any circumstances. Type Telecom System wildcard here should be conferred with the advantage to make sure this count is not only survivable but winnable.
Deploying.
We'll let it run on its own for a moment.
All enemy drones have been destroyed. Heavy target destroyed.
Okay. This is where the game kind of starts to get to the point where it's going to be a long time before I will have a good chance to stop. So I'm going to stop here. We will pick up again, most likely on Sunday, where we will continue on more with this, fight the UN forces that are coming, and then we will head down to Persephone and see what this artifact is all about. Tomorrow I'm going to be live streaming in the morning, about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will be doing Just Cause Part 2, and we'll see what more mayhem and destruction we can do there. So have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow for another stream. Oh shoot, did I? How long ago was that to have that happen? Shoot. Hopefully that was just happened now. I didn't realize I was on the Be Right Back. So, yeah, I went in here. Oh boy, I don't know if I might have to redo some of the stream for you guys. I'll see if later on the video, see if it switched over, but I believe I was on the right screen for most of it. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to save here. I hope that the screen, that me switching to the Be Right Back, it was still on there. Alright, so let me save this. And, yeah, so I'll see you guys all later. Bye.